Hello everyone, it's Andrew from GemTCG here, and in today's video I'll be talking about a concept that many of you will need to understand when you're first starting off, which is you are going to fail. And the title is a little bit, clickbaity, but what I mean by that is not everything you do from the start will be perfect, and you should not feel bad about that, and instead you should take that as a way to grow and learn from it rather than let it destroy you and your business. So stick around for this whole video to see exactly what I mean by this and how you can grow from it so that you succeed in the long term and not get so fixated on the mistakes in the short term. And also, if you need more help starting and growing your eBay stores, I have a Patreon and the link is in the description. So first off, when I first started selling, I failed countless times. There was many mistakes that I made in the beginning, like shipping cards without sleeves, losing hundreds of dollars grading cards because I didn't know which ones to grade and like how to verify if a card is worth grading and if it'll get a good grade, or buying cards at like 80% market price and then selling it at a market price on eBay and then losing money after the fees and all that. And to even getting a below standard rating on eBay in the beginning. And these are just quite a few examples I can name off. One big one was when I shipped or bought a collection from someone and paid them with Zelle online, and I got scammed. I ended up losing like $400 in the way beginning, which was basically all the money I had. So there's many ways that you will make mistakes, and to think that you won't make a mistake is kind of naive, and it's not realistic because these are bound to happen. And sure, they may not be as big as like getting scammed for all the money you have or getting a below standard rating, but you will make mistakes in like maybe overpaying for a collection or shipping something to the wrong address, getting anything wrong and just making a mistake like that. These will happen, and it's very easy to think like, or to, when you get scammed or you make that mistake, think, oh, this is going to keep happening, I have to stop selling, like it's not going to work out, it's not worth it. And it makes sense why you would fall to that reaction, because one, there's money involved, and when money is involved, it's easy for emotions to get the best of you and kind of cloud your judgment for like long-term thinking. And two, you're also taking on a risk. So like selling cards online and buying cards online is a risk that you're taking, and you're putting yourself out there. So it's like when you combine those two things, it's easy to just give up when mistakes happen. But if you kind of take a step back and get your emotions out of it and just look at it like a learning lesson, you will be able to use these mistakes as a positive thing for your business. For example, when I sold or bought the cards from that guy on Zelle or paid with Zelle and then got scammed, I knew from the start or from that moment on to never send payment with Zelle, friends and family, on PayPal or Venmo or Cash App without having the cards in front of me. So what I did to prevent that issue from happening again is I will only pay with goods and service, or I will wait till they ship it to me and then I'll pay with friends and family or like Cash App, whatever. And while it sucks that I got scammed for $400 in the beginning, if I look at it now and think, if that never happened to me in the beginning, maybe I would have sent $5,000 worth of sent a payment of $5,000 to someone with Zelle and then got scammed for an even larger amount. So it's like, in a way, I'm kind of grateful that I got scammed early on rather than getting scammed now where I'm buying bigger collections and having a larger budget. Because if I would have lost all my money now, it would be devastating, and getting scammed for that amount of money is like honestly probably not even recoverable from. So to be able to handle that mistake early on, it's a good thing and a great learning lesson. And then other things like getting below standard on eBay. When I first started selling on eBay, I wasn't taking it seriously and I was focusing on TCG player the most. And I had a lot of late shipments and also items not arriving, because I don't think I knew about the eBay standard tracking. So I was just shipping it like as is, or maybe they didn't have it when I first started. So there wasn't tracked shipping. And then sometimes I would just like ship it without tracking. People would say it never arrived. And that happened quite a few times. So then I ended up getting flagged and got that below standard rating. And for any of you that may not know, when you get below standard rating, your listings show up a lot less, and you also pay a extra fee, which is insane. But it's like, I think it's like a 5% extra fee that you pay if you get below standard. And when I realized how like much of a big impact that has on my store, I learned to then pay like much more close attention to my analytics, which are the late shipment rate, shipping with tracking, I think buyer defect rate or like item defect rate, and then cases closed without seller resolution. So those are the 4 things that you need to keep track of in order to not get a below standard rating. And you could take it even further and improve those as much as possible to then get a top rated rating on eBay, which would help out your store a huge amount. And I will make a video soon on how to like get to top rated in the fastest way possible, or explain how to do it, because there's a time window or like a minimum time needed to get there, but there are ways to do it sooner than maybe if you just like let it happen naturally. And I'll be honest, that mistake of getting below standard was something that I worked on, but then it happened again. And the reason why it happened was like extremely weird. It was someone bought like 14 cards, but it showed up as 14 different orders, and then it never arrived. So then it like looked like I didn't close a case or like resolve a case for 14 different orders, even though it was just one. And I ended up getting below standard, and this was like last year. And when I compared my sales from the month that I was below standard and the month that I was normal rating, like top rating, it literally cut in half. And then I paid a 5% extra fee on top of that. So that was a time where I made a mistake after already learning from that mistake, but then I made it again. And it kind of made me even more resilient to that and like more focused, because if you're going from 18K in sales in a month to 9K with a 5% fee on top of that, you start to see like how important these analytics and these numbers are for your store. And that's kind of a little tangent, but basically you need to be able to take these mistakes and learn from them. And on top of that, another thing that's important with learning from your mistakes is not over leveraging. And what that means is just like using credit cards to then buy inventory so that you can have a larger inventory and make more sales. But the reason why that doesn't work is because if you want to make an actual profit in a long-term business, you need to be able to list cards for a higher price. So if you are constantly fighting that 30-day window to then sell your cards, 1, it's extremely stressful. 2, you will most likely have to make a lot of fire sales and like sell things at a really low price to just make them enough money so that you could pay off your credit card. And 3 is that it leaves you more prone to making mistakes. Like one person, it went viral a few months ago. This guy called into the Dave Ramsey show, and he was talking about how he took out a bunch of money to then start a Pokemon business, and he ended up going like 50K in debt. And there's a bunch more to that story. But basically, he over leveraged, the sales didn't work out, and then he ended up losing all of that money. But if you were to just start with the cash that he had, bought some inventory, and then sold it, once he sells that, take the money from the sales, reinvest it, and then repeat that process over and over, that mistake wouldn't have happened, and he wouldn't have been 50,000 in debt. So you're going to want to be as far away from leveraging with this industry as possible. I know other industries you can leverage things, like leverage, loans and all that to make more money, and it's more reliable and it actually works. But in this industry, markets fluctuate way too much. Cards don't sell instantly all the time, and there's just so many variables that can lead to like a bunch of mistakes if you do that. And the reason why these two tie together is because if you're just working with the cash you have, like some spare money, and you make a mistake or you lose a sale, a card gets lost, something like that. If you're like just using your own money and a mistake like that happens, sure, it sucks, but like at least you can stomach that loss. However, if you are using, credit card loans or leveraging money in any other way and you make a mistake, that could literally collapse your business in no time. Because if you think about it, these credit cards have a 30% interest rate if you don't pay it off within a month. So if you don't make that money back from your inventory, or like from your purchases in that month, you'll be paying 30% interest. And let's say you bought $10,000 worth of cards, and at the end of the month you sold enough to make $5,000. Then you are carrying a $5,000 balance with a 30% interest, which would be like $1,500 or something, just an interest that you have to pay. So that leaves you to the point where it's like you cannot afford to make a mistake, and making a mistake will actually destroy you and your business. So if you want to grow your business and like be able to make mistakes and learn from them so that they don't happen again in the future, and you can grow as a person and as a business and a seller, you need to be able to take a step back when these mistakes happen and analyze them. Like, how did that go wrong? What did I do wrong? How can I prevent that in the future? And like, what did I learn from it? Ask yourself these questions so that it doesn't happen again. And then minimize it as much as possible, or try to resolve it as quick as possible too. And then at the second point is, do not leverage and do not take loans to then buy inventory to make more money, because you just won't be able to recover if you make a mistake. And speaking of all this like leveraging and credit card stuff, I do plan on making more videos about, finances, taxes, credit cards, and banks, because these are all pretty important. And I know that when I first started, getting a bank and a business credit card was pretty hard to do because I didn't have a credit history. So I'm going to make a video soon about those things, and then hopefully it'll be helpful to you guys that are just starting off. And stay tuned for that. Thank you all for the support, and I hope you all have a great day.